everyone. This is video 2 for lesson number 4, carbon and its compound. In video 1, we have studied about some properties of carbon and we have also studied about covalent bonds, how these bonds are formed, and some covalent compounds also. Today in this video, we will study about the properties of covalent compound and allotropes of carbon. In the previous lesson, we studied about properties of ionic compounds. Now we will study properties of covalent compound. But before that, you should know what is covalency. Covalency is the number of electrons which an atom of the element shares with other atom or the same atom in the formation of covalent molecule. For example, like H2, Cl2, they both have covalency of 1 because they are sharing only one electron. In oxygen, the covalency is 2 because 2 electrons are shared. For nitrogen, it is 3 and therefore nitrogen is said to be trivalent. If we take a molecule of different element like H2O, oxygen has a covalency of 2 because it is sharing 2 electrons and hydrogen is monovalent because it shares 1 electron. Okay. So now let's see the properties of covalent compound. First, the physical state. They may exist in different state, but mostly they are in gaseous state, like hydrogen, chlorine, ammonia, they are gases. Bromine is liquid and phosphorus, sulfur, they exist as solid. Melting and boiling point, because there are no ions present, therefore the force of attraction is very weak and thus these compounds have low melting and boiling point. You can see this slide: acetic acid, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, ethanol, methane, methanoic acid, they all have very less melting and boiling points due to the absence of strong electrostatic force of attraction. As you know, there are no ions. So when there is no ions are there, no free electrons are there, therefore they are very poor conductors of electricity and heat also. Solubility, they are not soluble in water because they do not split into ions as ionic compounds were splitting. But they dissolve in covalent solvents like carbon tetrachloride, benzene, acetone, etc. Now this is the comparison of the properties of ionic compounds and covalent compounds. You can just go through the slide and write these points in your notes. Okay. Let's come to the allotropic forms of carbon. So first you should know what is allotropy. What basically allotropy means. Allotropy is the property of an element as a result of which it exists in more than one form. Okay, but the point to be considered is they're physically different. Physical differences are there, but chemically they are similar. Okay, they have a same chemical properties. So allotropy is generally shown by non-metals, and in this chapter we will study allotropes of carbon. Basically, carbon exists in two states, that is crystalline and amorphous. In crystalline state, it has diamond, graphite and fluorines. In amorphous, it is coke, carbon black or lamp black and charcoal. Okay. Crystalline means they have a well-defined structures. Their structures can be seen, and in amorphous, they don't have a regular structure. This is the major difference you can see in this slide also. In class 10th, for this chapter, we just have to study in detail diamond and graphite only. Amorphous states, it's not there in your syllabus. You will study this in higher classes. So, let's start first with graphite. Okay. If you see the structure of graphite, you can see here each of the atom, carbon atom, is linked to 3 other atoms by covalent bond, and due to which a ring-like structure which is hexagonal in its shape can be seen, and it has got different layers. It is one below the other. The layers are formed and these layers are held together by very weak force of attraction. You can see these blue dotted lines. What are these? These are van der Waals forces. These are very weak force of attraction. Okay, due to these very less force of attraction, the graphite has a soft and greasy structure because the structure is not very compact. The color of graphite varies from grey to black depending upon the origin from where it has been taken. Okay. Now these are just the properties of graphite. You can see each is attached with 3 of the carbon atom. Means one of the carbon atom is free. Due to the one carbon atom which is free, it is a good conductor of electricity also. Let's see the uses. Due to its good conductivity, it is used for making electrodes, and it is used as a lubricant also for lubricating the parts of machines. Then high temperature crucibles are also made from graphite, and common use is it is used for making core of lead pencils because it is slippery. So whatever you are writing, the graphite is coming on the paper. It is passing its marks on the paper. Okay. Now let's see diamond. You can see the structure of diamond. Each of the carbon atom is attached to 4 carbon atoms with a covalent bond. Okay, and this result in a 3-dimensional network. You can see in the picture, each is attached with 4 carbon atoms. If you consider this 1, 2, 3 and 4, any of the you will take a carbon, they all are connected together, and therefore it is forming a 3-dimensional structure. Okay. Now all the carbon atoms are forming the bond. So none of the carbon atom is free, and there is no free atom is there. Therefore what will happen? It will not act as a good conductor of heat and electricity because free electrons are needed, and which are not there in case of diamond. Okay. Now it is strong and rigid. It has a compact structure because all the carbon atoms are held together and none of the atom is free. Okay, it's closely packed, and therefore it is the hardest substance. So you are seeing the property of graphite and diamond. Graphite is soft and slippery, whereas diamond is hardest substance. Why? Because of the close packaging of the atoms of carbon here. Okay, and as I told you earlier also, okay, all the 4 valence electrons are involved. Therefore, it is a bad conductor of electricity and heat also. So, if we talk about uses, it is used for cutting of the marbles and granite and glass also. Then it is used for polishing the surfaces. It is used for making special surgical knives also. Then it is used for jewelry purposes. That is the most common use because it has got a durability and luster power with them. And it is also used for drawing wires from the metals because it is a very hard substance. Okay. Now there is one more allotropes. Before that, you can see the differences between diamond and graphite. These will tell you the differences on the physical properties of both the allotropes, as well as you can see the difference on the part of its structure. Next allotrope is fullerenes. Fullerenes are also allotropes, and they were first identified was C60. Okay, in which carbon atoms were arranged in the shape of football. Here you can see the different carbon atoms are there, and structure is resembling a football. These are representing the double bonds, and single one are these. Okay, so double bonds and single bonds are there, and these may vary from C60 to C70 also, and some of the compounds, they contain up to 370 carbon atoms. Okay. Then C60 and C70 fullerenes have been isolated from the soot by extracting with toluene in which they dissolve to form a purple and orange red color compound. Here we don't have to go in that detail. You should just know the structure of fullerene, and it is made up of C60 part, okay, and arranged in a form of a football. That's it. And there are 20 hexagons, 12 pentagons of carbon atom in one molecule of Buckminster fullerene. It is the Buckminster fullerene. Its name was given by an architect from US, Buckminster Fuller. Okay, the name fullerene has been taken from there. So this much for today. In this you will study in detail about diamond and graphite, and fullerene you will just go through what is the structure and from where it was originated and what is formed of C60 carbon atoms. That's it. Thank you. This much for today.